Well, I want to ask the Prime Minister, if he's got scientific advisors, why is he ignoring them? Because if you go on the government Sage website, the very last thing that was put up just a few days ago was advice that he should maintain current mitigation measures in schools, including mask wearing in the coming months. Why is he taking this risk? Why is he taking this gamble with people's health and safety?
Presumably because, and I guess the answer is to ask him, but given that opportunity is not available to us, presumably because SAGE also have said that the risk of transmission in schools is very low. In fact, I think the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Jenny Harries, talked about there being not much community spread in schools at all.
Well, I think that SAGE paper actually said, and Jenny Harries wants to read it, that in fact they don't know. They're not sure. But there's just been an Israeli study, for example, a country that's also had lots of vaccination, which has absolutely shown, they've done a test right across the population, that schools are reservoirs for the virus and are spreading it. It's what the Prime Minister himself admitted in January. So if we don't know, we've got a variant which people are particularly concerned about now, as you know, that is spreading rapidly. He's taking a gamble. And who are the people who are going to lose out in that gamble? He might be lucky, but the people that will be unlucky will be vulnerable staff, vulnerable students. Those families that are already suffering cases of long COVID will increase. Why do this risky, premature step?
As you know, students are tested twice a week in order to be able to get back into schools. So the mitigations in schools continue. It's just that the mask wearing doesn't. Are you not ramping up the fear around the spread of COVID in schools here a bit?
It's not about ramping up fear, it's about being safe. We've come so far, why take a premature risk? Yes, let's use the test, but we know that those tests miss a good proportion of the positive cases. We'd like to say now, therefore, to head teachers, the government has made an announcement today, but it's your decision. You need to take a risk assessment of the risks in your school, and we'd advise you listen to the scientists and you maintain the face coverings at this stage.
But isn't that exactly the point, that it'll be up to the schools now? So rather than relying on top-down advice from the government, schools, of course, can continue to ask students to wear masks in the classroom, but it'd be up to them. That seems to be more sensible, doesn't it?
The difficulty will be that obviously without the backup of clear government advice, it's going to become a lot more difficult. There'll be a lot more pressure on heads. But we indeed, as you say, hope that the heads will make the right decision, and governors. If they look at the SAGE paper, if they look at the advice, I hope they'll draw the same conclusions, that classroom environments, you've just had an advert about maintaining face coverings at all times within, for example, transport, but classrooms are the same. They're closely packed environments with poor ventilation. At least a mask gives some kind of protection. Let's maintain that until we're a lot more certain that we are out of the pandemic, and we're not yet.
And I was just going to raise that point finally. Do you think then that masks should be advised to come off after June the 21st? When is a good moment?
Well, the open letter that was signed by many scientists and a whole load of unions as well made that point. Let's at least wait until then, have a proper review. My inbox is full of staff telling me that outbreaks are occurring in their school. Let's make sure that those messages are beginning to stop, that the outbreaks are right down, and then we can be safe. And now, we'd say to heads, maintain face coverings.
Good to speak to you, Martin Powell-Davies, teacher, trade union activist running for Deputy General Secretary of the National Education Union.